So hi there and welcome, Servus dear Bayern fans, to today's final practice session ahead of Champions League Matchday 4. Encounter Bayern Munich against Galatasaray Istanbul tomorrow at 9 p.m. local time at Allianz Arena. We have Thomas Müller already there on the training pitch with the woolen hat. It's around 10-11 degrees Celsius in Munich at this time of the day. So some might say, well, it's not really that cool. And some might say, well, I don't know what he's talking about, as I have to translate it for you. Maybe it's 52 degrees Fahrenheit, just in case you're living in that part of the world. You're measuring temperature in Fahrenheit. You can see Professor Holger Broich waiting for the other Bayern Munich players to warm them up, to give him a good run around the pitch like he always does. Thomas Müller, who scored one Bundesliga goal already this season, making him the only player to score in 15 successive Bundesliga seasons. Here's Harry Kane, well, who's only scored in one Bundesliga season so far, since this is his first, but he scored 15 times already in only 10 Bundesliga games, which is a new record. And you might have seen Joshua Kimmich there as well. Nice catch, by the way, from Harry Kane. Joshua Kimmich, who is ineligible to play in the Bundesliga after his red card, but he's allowed to play in the Champions League, obviously, so he will be in the starting 11 for tomorrow's game. That's no doubt for Thomas Tuchel, as will Manuel Neuer, by the way, who so far is absolutely living the dream, coming back from a horrendous injury. And he made it back, and so far he is able to play every 3 days, starting with the German Football Federation Cup of late. He's played in 2 Bundesliga games as well. And this is going to be his first Champions League game after the injury. Speaking of injuries, so many players injured for Bayern Munich, but Serge Gnabry is back with a cast after his broken arm in the first round of the German Football Federation Cup. And speaking of broken bones, Liam Goretzka, with his broken metacarpus, is definitely more than just an option for tomorrow's game against Galatasaray. Mathys Tel, the guy who just lifted up the ball, that was, as you all know, Rafael Guerreiro, who is now on the ball, who just was on the ball. He is probably not going to be a part of the squad for tomorrow after his thigh injury. Thomas Tuchel was talking about the game against Heidenheim being more realistic for him to come back in fine form these days. Leroy Sané, 11 goals in his past 19 games for club and country. Scored 8 goals in the Bundesliga, 1 in the Champions League already. That is quite a stat. That makes the coach happy. Here's Thomas Tuchel. And as you probably know, Bayern won the last 16 Champions League group games on the trot. And they actually won 27 out of the last 28 Champions League group home games. So when it comes to group games, Bayern Munich is hardly breaking any sweat. They are winning their games, and they have the chance to qualify early. Already tomorrow they could be qualified depending on the outcome of the other game. And Copenhagen and Manchester United are playing. But with a victory tomorrow, obviously, that would be a huge step for your Bayern Munich team. So here we go. Professor Holger Broich leading the pack around the pitch to warm up. Game against Galatasaray means Bayern against a Turkish opponent. The last 6 games for Bayern Munich were successful. They won all 6 of them by a combined score of 21-2. But as you all know, it's always about the next game. You can't really get anything for your past achievements, can you? So it's going to be Galatasaray tomorrow. After that, Bayern will entertain Heidenheim at Allianz Arena, the newly promoted team. After that, Bayern will travel to Cologne. Up next, the 5th match day of the Champions League. Copenhagen at home, then Union Berlin at home, Frankfurt away, Manchester United away, Stuttgart at home, Wolfsburg away, before the Bundesliga will enter the winter break. That's until the weekend of the 13th of January, by the way, so that is well deserved, I guess. Let's just hope that the snow is not going to be coming too soon, because you won't recognize the Bayern Munich players anymore in all white kits. But snow is not in the forecast in the next couple of days at least, even though it got significantly cooler in the past couple of days. It's quite a phenomenon. Manuel Neuer fighting his way back. You have the chance to see a feature film about his comeback, about his work with the medical staff and everything. This is gonna be aired pretty soon. Check out our social media channels and the homepage of Bayern Munich on how and where to watch that feature. So after the short little round and warm-up, it's about working with the ball a little bit. You can see Leon Goretzka to the left, or you just saw him exiting our picture with his casts on the left hand. And this is obviously not about fitness when it comes to Leon Goretzka, but it's definitely about, well, having the trust in the cast and getting the willingness back to really get into duels, into challenges, maybe falling on the arm as well. Same with Serge Gnabry, obviously. And then there's a different topic with Dayot Upamecano, who's now on the ball with his thigh injury. He was rushed back a little bit, maybe, in the last game against Dortmund, but he performed so well, and Thomas Tuchel said in the press conference that they stuck to the medical bulletin as far as the workload and the minutes were concerned. So he could be an option actually for tomorrow, but well, we have to wait and see how the decision will be made. In central defense for Bayern Munich. Actually, Thomas Tuchel couldn't praise Manuel Neuer highly enough on the press conference when he was asked about Bayern Munich's #1 and his comeback, his long road to coming back. But as it seemed, things went really quickly in the end. And Harry Kane, the transition from the Premier League to the Bundesliga seemed to have been, well, nothing but just easy money for Harry Kane, scoring at will. Especially the communication and all the fine-tuning with his fellow players at the Bayern Munich team really seemed to have happened all so quickly. Just an intelligent player, able to blend in this team, making himself available for passes and obviously scoring the odd goal. Harry Kane is 2 assists in the Champions League already, 2 Champions League goals, and like I said, 15 goals in 10 Bundesliga games. That is just an incredible feat. And in his past 35 Champions League games, he was involved in 30 goals. Musiala and Bonassar. Bonassar started in the cup game against Saarbrücken for the first time in more than 2 years, actually. Stretching while Franz Kretzig is adjusting his shoelaces. As you know, Franz Kretzig just signed a new contract until 2027, his first professional contract. And maybe he's in for a Champions League debut tomorrow. More movement without the ball is the topic with this particular drill. Just mixing things up, keeping the players honest, not giving them the same drill every time around. It's always a bit different here and there. It's pretty interesting the way the players are coping with the cold. Some of them wear gloves, like Harry Kane or Min-jae Kim, for example. Most of them wear long pants, but the only one who wears a woolen hat actually wears shorts, and that is Thomas Müller. So everybody gets a different feel about the cold. Which probably makes Joshua Kimmich the toughest of them all, as he is in shorts without gloves and he's not wearing a hat. But that's just a side aspect of things, isn't it? So same principle. 2 touches, run around the yellow. always a lot of traffic in the middle during those drills, as the players have to change from one side to the other, or at least have to make a couple of turns in the middle before getting back to their position. So this is about the foot speeds, running through those, well, it's almost like a ladder that is laying on the pitch there as the players are stepping through it. Because as you all know, quick footwork is always important, whether it be on the ball or against the ball. Most of the time it might seem more important against the ball, but that's probably debatable. First game against Galatasaray on match day 3, it was a 3-1, as you probably know, with Coman scoring first before Icardi being able to equalize, and Kane and Musiala brought Bayern Munich back on the winning track. And this is going to be the first game of Galatasaray in Munich since the season 72-73. When Bayern won 6-0 those days. The days of Gerd Müller, as you probably know. You can hear the goalkeeping practice in full swing. So on to the next stage for the outfield players. Usually it's only 15 minutes, as you know, an open practice session ahead of a Champions League game. It's part of the UEFA protocol. After that, players are able to practice behind closed curtains, more or less. almost always key element in practices, the rondo, because it just teaches you so many things. And that's it with this final practice session ahead of the Champions League match day 4 game, Bayern Munich against Galatasaray. As you know, tomorrow from 9 p.m. Local time in Germany, we have this game in the web radio for Bayern Munich. So we'll catch you there. Got it in German and in English. You can choose any way you like it. So I hope we'll catch you there, and have a good one. See you then. Bye-bye.
Also here the yellow corner.